mysterious story.
Papa Jake goes back to a scary sewer tunnel at 3 a.m. because he and his friends believe there is a gigantic sewer creature down there, so they bring a lot of technology such as motion sensors and night vision to record it on camera. Their first encounter happens not in the tunnel itself, but rather in the surrounding woods.
Something's in the nest! Something's in the nest! Something is in the nest!
What appears to be some type of a humanoid creature scampers across the forest floor on all fours. One of the two friends notices it, so I'm guessing he convinces himself that it was nothing, and they go on their way. Eventually, they find the tunnel after a short time, when a peculiar and haunting groan compels them to flee as soon as possible.
Oh Jesus, what was that? What was that?
They are extending far down, and the noise is coming from the same way they came from, so Papa Jake and his friend make an effort to leave the creature for 5 minutes. They find themselves lost and walk down a pipe, but someone is tailing them, appears to know every last twist and turn of this labyrinthine wasteland, and is determined to locate them swiftly. They all stop recording to flee for their lives, and Papa Jake now believes he has enough proof against the rake. Please tell me whether you believe this is real or not based on what you've observed, and their reactions appear to be genuine, though special effects are always a possibility. Downright Dives is a dumpster diving crew that scours the trash for discarded valuables and goes through a series of dumpsters without incident, usually finding rotting food. While rummaging through the remaining few dumpsters, one of them finds an unexpected thing.
No. In there, guys. Guys. In there. I'm not even joking.
And both of them don't believe there is someone at the bottom of the dumpster, although the camera doesn't capture a clear image.
That box right there just moved. I'm not even joking. That one. No. Go.
You can perceive a man show up from beneath the boxes that he owns everything in the bin. A dossing man who pursued him and even got into a violent struggle off camera, yet I haven't decided on this one because we never get to see the homeless individual in question. Living in a dumpster is a standard image of dossing people, so this experience is unlikely. Michael Edelstein made a record this strange chance meeting with his phone in 2016 to demonstrate that it was spooked, and many people have agreed with him since. But what's strange is that the phone appears to wait until Michael is nearly finished recording before dialing a completely different number followed by 2 sevens and an asterisk. I'm not sure whether this is abnormal or not because it could be a glitch or even water on the screen, and please tell me if you've ever had anything strange happen to your phone. And, if you're a phone technician, tell me what the chances are of this happening to so many buttons at once. Carter is filming a YouTube video to flaunt his new roof, but he unintentionally captures something lurking inside his home during the process.
That's right. New roof. Shingles were delivered today. Old roof was torn off yesterday.
Should it be a likeness of a tree, how the leaves or branches don't appear to be changing position at all and appear to be an unblinking face staring straight ahead, and Carter appears unconcerned and continues filming for quite some time. Cryptid Hunter and his companions have returned to a cave they believe is spooked, and this time, they're employing a paranormal investigation technique I've never seen before. They transport dolls into the cave, which they believe is already spooked, and are interested in how the spirits in the dolls react to the ghosts in the cave. They make use of long thin rods with which the spirits might react to questions.
Please point the rod to the most haunted doll that's inside his mind. There it goes again.
And they appear to decide to forego the rods and make their presence known in a much manner.
What the was that?
Because the smooth cave walls had minimal traction, the doll may have just toppled over on its own. Then it could have been pushed over by an invisible spirit, but it moved by some way. Those are the only two why and wherefore I have. In 2014, a YouTuber was finishing up a hiking trail in Fernie, British Columbia, when an unwanted intruder decided to make him its intended prey.
That is a mountain lion. And he's stalking me.
A wild mountain lion emerges from the tall brush with its head low to the ground, ready to pounce. In this situation, all you surely behave like the man, you will leave everything there and run away.
I am much bigger than you. I'm way bigger than you.
But then he calms down and meets his assailant. The lion offspring appears astonished by this response. He starts to again get a stronger position to control the case happening. It is lastly noticed a few more times as it loafs along the nearby trail, and when the confrontation is at the end, the two end up staring at each other from a short distance. The mountain lion appears uneasy and leaves because until a few next years the animal will have developed into a much larger form that threatens even adult people.
Come here, Isla. What's scary?
Emma breaks out in a cold sweat when entering her parents' room because she believes she notices a bad man in there with them, and when her mother has her point out where the person is, then she says it's in a dark closet. The mother examines the closet. She doesn't see anything, but she seems to get an uneasy feeling that matches her daughter's emotions.
What, baby? Want Daddy? Okay, go get Daddy.
The child scares and her face turns grey, and everyone knows that she does not dare to move without her mother's help. This video makes me both dark and honest, but ovs, the mother felt a presence as well, or else she would not have posted this video with the headline 2-year-old girl sees ghost again. I need more information before making a definitive decision, but please tell me if you believe Emma saw something that her parents didn't see that night. A rainy day in Bradford, Pennsylvania. Bulldog, a YouTuber, is in his backyard with his girlfriend, and they're shooting random videos and talking about nothing when they come upon something that makes them realize they're not so alone after all.
Whoa, that was weird. I just saw something run across the screen.
Liars.
Some kind of smoke or mist manifests and quickly changes into the shape of a person taking a few quick steps before dissipating completely. Bulldog thinks that it seems to be a runner, and I totally agree that it does resemble the upper torso and shoulders of a runner, and could say that it appears to me that the figure is missing a head. Corson, a YouTuber, believes that his prior residence was spooked, and the ghost spent a long time following him when he ultimately moved to a new site. Corson shot this video after feeling a pally presence looking at him while eating. And after a brief examination of the chair, he decides to test the strength of the spirit. Given that we couldn't notice the whole chair from this point of view, I'm guessing there was something wrapped around the chair legs to make it appear to be moving on its own, which would be in need of the assistance of another person. As I know, Corson was completely alone, but we'll probably never know for sure. I'd like to hear your best guesses to the video's legitimacy. A YouTuber named Sons the Skeleton 101 thinks he may have seen a monster lurking in his yard. The out-of-focus object looks like it could be a creature on all fours, but I'm just not sure. It doesn't appear to be switching, and maybe a pile of dirt, and Skeleton 101 ran back into his abode. So tell me what you think it was and whether you think he was in any genuine danger at the time. Mega Skelly 11, a YouTuber, who has been witnessing strange paranormal activity in their home. Sometimes it's as simple as a potted plant wobbling on its own, and other times it's far more sinister. According to Mega Skelly 1, it is a demon, but in my opinion, there is simply too much going on at once to easily fake, and there is no indication that this is a setup, and please tell me if you think this is true or if you have a better explanation. McJuggernuggets, a well-known YouTuber, goes home one day to discover evidence of a significant break-in, then some of his belongings have gone missing.
Somebody took the hard drive.
Hard drive to what?
All my behind the scenes. Somebody literally came into the house and must have taken this shit. I'm going to check the security camera.
He has a brief argument with his father about the probability of a break-in, but the security video always tells the truth.
Hold on, here it comes.
I am sure that a stranger investigates the house by repeatedly knocking on the door and even attempting to turn the knob. Afterward, he pries open a window with a long tool and reaches inside to quickly grab a nearby hard drive before fleeing.
Oh my god, dude.
The window was right next to McJuggernuggets' bed, which made him surprised. He suddenly realizes this person, maybe a stalker, reached into his room to retrieve a hard drive full of unedited video content. Who knows what this insane fan will return for the next time. The mystery monster in this short film, a group of children is playing soccer when a weird and mysterious animal makes up its mind to interrupt their game. Keep an eye out for a black object approaching from the right. Because of the poor quality of this video, it's difficult to tell what this creature is. It's extremely small and the way it shuffles from side to side does not appear natural. It is extremely difficult, if not impossible, to discern a face or even any limbs. Even though it could be a wild animal, the way the children and even the dog flee in terror has many people believe that this creature is paranormal or even extraterrestrial. It appeared that when the video is slowed down and zoomed in on the creature, it's difficult to tell what it could be. I don't know what it is, and I would love to hear your best prediction in the comments section. The ghost studier, it seemed that this footage was shot after hours by a member of staff on a college campus in North Yorkshire. It was recorded through a classroom window and indicates the outline of a person studying at a computer intently, seemingly unaware that they were being filmed. It appears that the only problem is that no one else was supposed to be in the building at the time. So this video was to be able to be CGI or the weightless black mass of a real ghost. This video seemed to be shot during a soccer game in Peru. While the fast-paced game is occurring in a good way, Mother Nature makes up its mind to intervene unexpectedly.
Epa, ¿viste el relámpago? Epa, ¿viste el relámpago? Epa, ¿viste el relámpago?
The stadium is filled with echoes of loud noise. When a player lays face down on the ground, smoke flows rapidly in a steady stream from him. João Fuentes is his name, and he has been struck by lightning. Despite this bleak video, the 21-year-old soccer player miraculously gets better. Off camera, an assistant referee was also struck by lightning. And he also got better in some way. As bizarre as it appears, this video highlights a mysterious link between soccer and lightning strikes. According to a recent US study, soccer is the fourth most likely sport for people to be struck by lightning while playing, and there is not anyone that knows the reason why. The Manchester This CCTV footage is recorded in Manchester, England, where a poltergeist is said to have taken over an insurance office for the time being. Although the surveillance footage appears usual for the first minute or so, then things begin to become strange shortly thereafter. The office ghost gets much more brutal and aggressive after throwing around some chairs. With an indignant intensity, the ghost flings open filing cabinets and slams doors while jiggling the doorknob to one room in particular. Even though nobody knows what's inside that room, it's clear that the ghost is paying close attention to that sector. It is desperate to get in. The last thing is that the mysterious room's door opens and closes, and the office returns to an eerie silence. After gaining entry, the ghost appears to be well pleased for the time being, and it appears to have stopped throwing a paranormal tantrum, at least for the time being. It seems to be difficult for me to tell whether this video is genuine or a hoax. On this one, I could probably go either way. According to the comments on this video, the internet appears to be mostly in agreement. Doll Trouble. This double doll that haunted happened recently somewhere in South America. Two girls who converse with the camera while clutching their Barbie dolls are happy. They are expressing admiration for their toys when their toys begin to admire them back. Both dolls turn their heads to face the girls, who scream and throw their possessed toys to the floor. When the girls begin to move, it is clear that they are not holding dolls near their heads, so perhaps it is all real after all. If anyone could express the sense of what these girls were saying in another language, it might help us determine whether this video is genuine or not. The distress call Blake M., who believes he recorded a weird message by accident while filming himself on the side of the road, is a YouTuber. Pay close attention and see if you can hear it for yourself. Because the message is short, turn up the volume and listen to this version with subtitles if you missed it. You can hear a faraway voice say "help me" in an instant tone right around the time Blake smooths his hair. Even though he could edit in this voice thereafter, or that it was someone yelling from a passing car. If not, this could be evidence of someone pleading with the afterlife for assistance. The aging pill. When you're looking at her, you would not predict, but this Vietnamese woman is only 23 years old. She used to have normal, youthful-looking skin, but after only a few nights, she awoke wrinkled and old. Because there did not seem to be anyone in her village who knew what was wrong, they summoned a doctor from the city. He returned to the lab with some skin samples to figure out what it was. The woman's condition began much more subtly when she ate seafood one day and became an itchy rash. Even though she used medication to treat it, her body had an even worse reaction, resulting in hives. It looked like that the condition worsened, and her entire body is now covered in sagging skin, with no end in sight. Neither she nor her husband can recall the kind of prescription medication she took. To this day, the brand is a moody mystery. Country ghost. While a police officer is keeping watch on a long stretch of country road, something immediately makes him almost swerve into a ditch. Even though it's difficult to see what happened, unless you don't slow down the video and play it frame by frame, you cannot see a transparent figure step directly into the path of the police officer. If you look carefully, you can see the slender outline of a head and body. It has the appearance of a woman's small frame. The figure passes through the car unharmed, and the police officer makes a three-point turn to return and investigate. He does not see anything when he crawls forward. The road is deserted, and the night scenery is deafeningly quiet. Ghost streaming Rubsy, who is staying at a friend's house to care for their pet cat while they are away, is a live streamer. Although he makes up his mind to stream some video games, he is constantly interrupted by a series of haunting occurrences.
Yeah, that was the tragic story of my my bringing down of my dearest Lydia. Oh my!
Distractions seem to not bring to an end there. The light in the other room does not turn off by itself after the door slams shut on its own. Even though Rubsy stands up and turns it off, as soon as he sits back down on the couch, the light returns. You can tell he's starting to freak out at this point. He is brave enough to examine the door and discovers no one on the other side, so he swallows his fear and returns to his seat. This happens just as he appears to be settling in and enjoying himself.
Same. Like I'm watching.
It's not like we needed, guys. It's not like we needed any sleeping.
It appears that this time Rubsy does not stay to see how far this possible poltergeist will take things. When he exits quickly, a chair pulls itself out of the table. Even though this video could be a hoax, then again it could also be a genuine paranormal encounter. Basement shadows. It appears that this home footage was shot in rural Pennsylvania at the end of 2016. A man becomes concerned about weird noises coming from his basement and makes up their mind to investigate with a camera. Even though he claims that something is always running up the steps at full speed, there seems to be nothing ever coming through the door when it reaches the top. The man is sure that he will be able to frighten no matter what is lurking below.
Alright, here we go. Hello? I know I hear you down here. I know I heard you. Holy f***! Oh my... Dude! I just saw it. Holy f***, man.
He opens the door and descends the stairs without a weapon. Instead of fleeing, he pursues the enigmatic figure. The camera pans around the basement, revealing him to be alone right now. Because I suppose it wouldn't be too difficult for someone to dress in all black and peek around a corner, this video could be a hoax. However, this video could be genuine proof of a shadow person. According to the original uploader, he and his family no longer feel safe when they are at their home. At the moment, they are looking for a new home. The Clear Beast. This footage was shot in 1997, during a year that saw weird sightings of an unexplainable beast lurking deep in the woods of Emerson, Missouri. A wildlife warden discovers a threatening camera lying in the middle of a nature trail one day. He examines the footage and is astounded by what he discovers. It appeared that the video was captured by a pair of hunters. They're hiking through the woods when an evil-looking transparent figure appears out of nowhere.
You see that? Over there, look, over there. You see that?
What the hell?
Wait, because that was it again, right there.
The transparent creature appears tiny and threatening when it glides across the forest floor without making a sound. It seems that they lose sight of the creature for a while, only to rediscover it.
Wait.
I don't like this.
You see that? Right there. Look.
Oh my god. That's not an animal. I don't like it.
Okay, fuck. Go.
The camera zooms in for a closer look this time. When the anonymous creature notices them, it squats down in a low, aggressive posture. It lets out a loveless shriek that sounds both high-pitched and deep at the same time. The men flee deeper into the woods, terrified that the thing is following them like prey. What happened next is still unknown. I hope that they got it to be out of the woods alive, but no one has ever come forward to claim the video as their own in the decades since. The pub crawler Julie Cooper owns the Don War Memorial Bar in Stockton, London, and is known as the pub crawler. Every year, she receives a large number of visitors, but there is one ghostly visitor in particular who she will always remember. Even when she has video proof, she can back up her enigmatic tale. A bar band was keeping their hand in the upstairs area one night. They take a short break, and then all of the lights go out. Something weird darts across the 3 CCTV monitors moments before the power surge. Julie claims to have seen the shadowy black figure many times before, and it's not the only paranormal encounter she's had while working at the bar. According to her, even though the upstairs of the bar is very pleasant, the downstairs is a little off and evil. Julie turns down to go down there by herself because she overheard someone playing pool and mistook it for maintenance. When his name is called out by her, she discovered that no one was there. Number 9. A motorist in Lagos, Nigeria who seems to be interested in his own business is driving down the road when he sees a serious traffic jam ahead, and that's when he and his passenger both discover the large red fuel truck in reverse. Please watch this section and let me know what you think the fuel truck crew is up to, and it appears that they are putting a lot of effort to hurl something into the tires to prevent the truck from rolling backward, but I cannot be certain. It appears that the driver and his companion believe they have overcome difficulties, but they are interrupted by a loud bang from behind seconds later, and I suppose the fuel truck hit something and exploded immediately, but I'm not sure what happened later, and I couldn't discover any articles that have a clear description, so I would like to hear yours. To help in any way, the driver parked on the curb, and the video finishes shortly after. Thomas Croker, who is driving down the A34 highway when he chooses to convert the song he's listening to, is a British truck driver, and it's a decision that will make him be the next 10 years in prison. He takes a mother and her 3 children's life who is going full speed, all of whom don't outlive, and these types of videos are always difficult for me to watch because using our phones more is something that so many of us do without thinking every day while driving. I hope that we can all experience Thomas's terrible misunderstanding and pay more attention to the road. This dashcam video was captured in Tempe, Arizona. When Rafaela Vasquez is using her phone to see Hulu on her phone, a bicyclist suddenly enters her path. This recording is made all the more strange by the fact that it is an exploratory self-driving car which is made by Uber that is said to be able to run without a driver. So Uber took on Rafaela to sit in the car and take the steering wheel in case something happened by chance, which she could not do. Elaine Hertzberg, who did not overcome difficulties, is a pedestrian. And I couldn't discover a single news article claiming that Rafaela Vasquez was accused of anything despite this. Elaine may have broken traffic laws when she passes across an unmarked crosswalk at night. So please tell me whether you believe Uber or Rafaela should be in charge of making. Charlotte Teeling, who completes the last song and says something to the bouncer when she is outside that later tells cops she hit on him, seems to be dancing alone in a club in West Midlands, England late at night. I have confidence in the bouncer because he appears to bow down and smile without any disbelief when something overdone is said, and Charlotte has no idea that a strange man named Richard Bailey will take her to go later that night. He picks her up home, then kills her and abandons her body for the police to discover a week later, and Charlotte might still be alive if the bouncer had accepted her proposal in a sad and weird twist of fate. Jack Shepherd is dating Charlotte Brown when he suggests going on a boat ride, and when she consents, she must have pictured a peaceful and scenic tour on the water, but Jack has other plans. He chooses to make an impression on her by charging ahead at full speed, so the boat crashes into a floating tree trunk and drops them into the water moments after taking this video. Only Jack seems to be alive, and later, the London police uploaded this video on the internet to prove his culpability after he attempted to say Charlotte was driving, not him. Obviously, Charlotte says to Jack that his driving is too fast, so I believe he is to blame for her death, and eventually, he was culpable, but he has since run away and is still on the run. After viewing the video evidence, please let me know what kind of retribution you believe Jack Shepherd is worthy of if the authorities ever find him. It seems like 2 police cars race through South Bend, Indiana so as to respond to an urgent call, but only one of them gets its police lights turned on, and after that, on her way home from her factory job, an innocent 22-year-old woman named Erica Flores is crashed into by the second police car. She seems to pass away, and Officer Justin Gorney was not charged by an Indiana grand jury for reasons that were never revealed to the public, and I believe Erica Flores would have had a better opportunity to prevent the car if both squad cars had used their overhead lights and sirens properly. No matter how there is, watching this video and knowing that someone's life was taken moments later is disturbing, to say the least, but tell me whether you believe the officer should have been accused or not. In Myrtle Beach, two friends seem to be going to the tallest floor of a hotel, and it is not until they bide the elevator's time that the glory role students appear to be in good spirits, joking and laughing, and even dancing at one point. Both of them appear to be dead forever a short time later, and by the way, Daniela Flores and Amber Franco together dropped down the roof even though there is not anyone knowing exactly how or why. It seems like inquisitors believed they had intentionally jumped at the beginning until CCTV footage revealed their happy states, and there is no doubt that they aren't bringing themselves with the thoughtfulness of two people about to commit suicide. In this video, as you can see that they putting on backpacks, and both of these backpacks were discovered next to each other by the edge of the roof, and they could have removed them before sitting with their legs dangling over the ledge. I believe one of them slipped by accident and seized hold of the other when she passed, so please let me know if you believe this is real or if you have a better explanation. Number 1. Pedro Ruiz, who finds out an idea for the ultimate YouTube video one day, is a YouTuber, and he persuades his sweetheart Mona Lisa to take a firearm to put it point-blank range into his chest while he shields himself with an encyclopedia. Please hear the anxious sound that she creates at the end of his request, and she does not believe this is a good idea. Mona Lisa is on the horns of a dilemma after making this introduction and points at Pedro, and after a lot of reassurances from her boyfriend that he will be fine, she fires a round straight through the book, which then enters Pedro's body.
Let's do it.
He dies not long after that, and Mona Lisa was convicted to 180 days in prison for making this video, but I'd like to know your thoughts on whether this was a fair sentence. It sometimes appears that she was clearly inconvenient when she was doing this and was almost obliged to go along. Eulio Rojas seems to use Facebook Live to put on the record himself driving at 115 miles per hour on the highway in Providence, Rhode Island while blowing up loud music. However, he has no qualms about swerving in and out of traffic, repeatedly cutting off cars while driving at breakneck speeds.
Get it, puppy.
His high-speed adventure takes only about 2 minutes before he crops into the shoulder and fails to make a quick 2-lane change. However, what you don't notice in the final moments of this video is a garbage truck going straight to RC from behind, push him into the concrete barrier and then to a stop in the middle of the road. He could seem to escape, then was convicted for 6 months house arrest followed by 6 months probation, so let me know if you think he got a fair sentence based on this video. Number 6. It is not until a group of Russian building workers is taking a break that a bear cub hikes to their tent with curiosity, and their pet German shepherd becomes interested in the small bear, and the construction workers record the whole scene, unconcerned. The mother bear seems to pop up to watch what all the fuss is going to be when the group of workers does not look like to be concerned in the least, or perhaps they believe they are not dangerous in numbers against the savage animal, or perhaps they have never witnessed how protective mother bears are of their cubs. After a few stressful moments, they all quickly find the horrible real world of the situation. And unless you look carelessly at the video, the German shepherd seems to make direct eye contact with the mother bear, sending it into a rage. The reports show that the bear attacked everyone inside the tent, killed 3 workers, and take the others to the hospital, but unfortunately, neither did the poor dog. I want to know what these workers could have done to prevent them from this tragic incident, and I suppose they should have all left camp as soon as the bear cub arrived again, but I'm curious what other precautions they could have taken, if any. Some reports show this video could have been arranged, but I feel uncertain about it, and I don't know how, or why anyone would educate a bear to charge on command, so I believe this video is genuine. If you look carefully, you can see a portion of the creature's body emerge from the water and make a splash. Even though it's a minor detail, it gets me to believe it's true. I'm extremely astonished that no one realized the creature's large moving shadow beneath them, so perhaps it's all a hoax after all. David Whitehurst is flying his drone over the neighborhood when a much smaller white object nearly collides with him at a much faster rate. David has no idea what this fast-moving object is, and to be honest, neither do I. Please tell me about your best prediction, and let's work together to solve this complicated video. A Singaporean driver believes they get an obvious lane ahead of them until something to the right frightens them and causes them to lay on the horn. On the center divider, the pale outline of a woman seems to be superlatively steadied. While this could be a pedestrian who is attempting to pass across a busy street, the driver believes they have seen a ghost. Even should this be a person rather than a spirit, I'm not sure why they choose to cross this stretch of road. Except for heavy traffic, even though there is not anything, on the other side a tall hill and no discernible buildings of any kind. This city CCTV footage was captured in Mexico City at a pedestrian crosswalk. A young girl with black hair over her face appears in front of a car and makes no attempt to move. The car manages to pass through her without causing any damage. This strange incident was captured on multiple CCTV cameras, though I have a sneaking suspicion that it could have been faked with some skilled editing. This Singaporean driver is just listening to music when the taxi in front of him has an out-of-this-world car problem. A sentient and aggressive mist goes into the taxi through the window, forcing the driver to pull over. The inside of the cab lights up a few times when some kind of paranormal altercation takes place, as you can see. Even though it could be CGI, the video suddenly comes to an end, so we don't know what happened or whether everyone inside was okay. It seems that Cora MK2 is a significant motorcycle enthusiast who has a YouTube channel where he chronicles his many road trips. He is going by his bike across a normal-looking bridge in Pasadena, California when he notices something unusual. If you don't keep an eye on the right side, you'll miss it. Because you might have missed it in the first place, here it is again. It's worth noting that the replay was not edited. I could return to the original footage and easily see her once after I knew where to look. Cora MK2 claims that the girl was smiling, but the camera was unable to capture the details of her face. It is clear that so many people have died on this bridge that they have had to install fences to prevent something. Maybe this girl was either contemplating suicide or was the spirit of someone who had already committed suicide. This drone is filming a sunny beach on a nice day when it captures an alleged monster lurking in the waters by accident. It appears that a massive snake or worm is just meters away from swimmers. This 2009 home surveillance footage indicates the Jameson family acting weirdly on their possessions in Eufaula, Oklahoma shortly before they vanished. They can be seen carrying out about 20 trips to and from their house without saying anything to one another. Some examiners believe they were unable to think with clarity. The Jamesons had not been seen for years until hunters discovered their scattered remains in 2014. Because their remains decayed for forensic testing, no one knows what happened to them. The source of their death has never been determined, and it is unlikely that it will ever be, so all that remains of their final days is this videotape. YouTuber, Molly the Lag seems to be the only car on the road late at night when he notices something strange. To find it, follow the road's curvature and look into the distance.
was that?
What? What?
I saw somebody on a bicycle or something like that.
Molly the lag notices a bright light ahead of her cross the road and then silently vanish. It's also odd how the streetlights begin to flicker when this occurs. He does not know what caused the moving light. Since there was only one way for vehicles to go, straight, it couldn't have been a car. Molly the lag has even employed Google Maps to confirm this, therefore I'm completely stumped. According to this CCTV's evidence, the Barnsley Antique Centre in England has long been the site of a paranormal haunting. It seems not to be uncommon for items to fly off the shelves on their own, and that's just the outset. After hours, weird phantasms seem to dance across the security monitors, their blurry white appearance hardly discovered by the camera. For no apparent reason, this stale glass cabinet broke into pieces. The incidental was recorded from numerous angles, demonstrating that no one was near the antique piece of furniture at the time. In my opinion, this could very well be a rightful haunting. Please tell me if you have an idea that how any of these events could be fabricated. Even if they could be counterfeited, it doesn't explain why a shopkeeper would usually do damage to their own establishment. Except for a single sign that has gone haywire, everything in this building seems to be completely quiet and still, as evidenced by this massive wall of security monitors. Even though I've seen signs twisting around from the air conditioning before, this one appears to be a little different. The swaying back and forth appears to be intended, almost as though an unsighted force is hanging off of it. Apart from the fact that it takes place somewhere in Singapore, I don't know much else about this video. Please let me know what you think. Moto2 Wrist is a motorcyclist traveling through India when he misses his turn and becomes disoriented. It's now raining, and his bike's narrow tall beams are his only origins of light. Moto2 Wrist is already on the verge of losing his cool when he notices something that sends him completely over the edge. From the side of the road, an unfamiliar person rushes at him. Remember that it's 10 p.m. and there appear to be no villages around for miles. It seems that this pedestrian would have to be insane to walk down a dark road in hard weather without even a flashlight to show them the way. Moto2 Wrist is certain that this is a ghost and speeds away, even though it could have been someone in distress. Although we'll never know for sure what happened, I want to hear your thoughts on it. Here's an odd dashcam video coming from Malaysia that will leave you perplexed. These drivers are on a dim road when they pass by a woman in a pink shirt once and then again a little further up the road and then a third time, at which point they are noticeably warned and speed away only to run straight into her a fourth and final time.
Jalan sekarang. Wait,
If you watch the entire video, you'll notice that they're not driving in a circle. Unless they were driving in a circle, they could have completed a full lap in the time it takes the woman to reappear. What's most disturbing about this is that the woman's back is always turned to them, and they never see her face. Good note, a YouTuber is discovering the Illinois countryside when he comes across a solitary burial ground in the middle of nowhere. He immediately recognizes this location as the Witch's Circle, a nefarious hangout where certain individuals have been known to practice black magic and summon spirits. Even though it appears that Goodnote crashes his drone to get a better look, the wind mysteriously picks up every time he attempts to fly. In my opinion, I don't see anything out of the ordinary here, but please tell me if you do. At any rate, there's another video he shot on foot that I'm much more keen on. He took this at the start of his visit. He's going to the front door and says he starts to have a really strange feeling. After that, his phone's battery drains from 52% to 0% and abruptly shuts down. What's more bizarre is that he can't seem to upload this video to any other mobile device, no matter how hard he attempts. It works flawlessly on his phone and nothing else. He was only able to upload it to YouTube by filming the screen with another camera. Even though I attempt not to make presuppositions without sufficient proof, it's almost as if something would not like to be seen or shared with us that grey overcast day. This 10-minute video indicates a toy ambulance randomly going off, despite the fact that it usually requests someone to hold down the red buttons on top in order to make any noise. What's strange is that it appears to respond to a child's voice. Although perhaps it's just me, it appears as if the ambulance was bidding the child to number to a certain number. It seems to go off a few more times, mostly when the child speaks or is about to speak. Surprisingly, both of these clips appear to involve the number 12. Even though Esmeralda Vega is filming her family that is opening gifts on Christmas, one toy in particular goes on interfering with what should be a blissful family moment.
That shit moved again. I'm throwing it across the.
Perhaps someone is commanding this toy from another room, or perhaps its motion started off, but according to their surprised reactions, I don't believe that anyone is intentionally moving this toy. If there is something, the toy appears to change position its own when the camera person mentions it, almost as if it has its own mind. If anyone knows this toy, please tell me what it's called and whether or not it's remote controlled. Perhaps we can all work together to determine whether or not this video is genuine. This grainy video, which is shot in a dim room just outside the kitchen, shows a children's toy unexpectedly gliding forward on its own. Even though the video's quality isn't great, it was shot in 2010 and appears to be about average for camera phones at the time. I'm not sure the reason why the camera was placed in that location in the first place. Perhaps they were having experience of magical activity in this area of the house and would like to document it for evidence. In any case, there's still enough light coming in from the kitchen to see if there's a string on the ground. Because I don't see anything, I believe there is a high ability that this video is genuine. A reason why this gruesome child's bike was dropped down the roof. Even though this lullaby is only supposed to play for a minute, it's been playing for a half hour and counting.
5:30 in India here, and this is so freaking haunted. Nope. Help. No. Stop it.
The voice quickly shifts to a more sinister tone, and I believe that I can hear other voices coming out of it as well.
I'm running away. What the hell is that? Oh my god.
This video, which is only 7 seconds long, puts us with more questions than answers. Two young women are recording a YouTube video with a great doll toy. Unless someone could not translate this section, it would not give us a better understanding of what the video was supposed to be about.
Bueno, aquí les presentamos a la muñeca de Bessie que se la regalaron a sus 15 años.
No manches, mira.
By contrast, the toy begins to change position on its own, staring at one of the girls. Off camera, a girl says to her to look at the toy, and when she does, she tosses it down in terror. Both of their reactions appear to be genuine, and if this isn't normal, I don't know what brought about it. This video was taken at a rumored haunted house in Chiefland, Florida. Diane Frazier and her supernatural examination team invite the ghost of a child named David to play with a toy top in an attempt to summon him. I am sure that the tiny piece of plastic starts moving on its own.
Can you make sure that's zoomed in correctly?
It is.
I want you to see this. You missed it.
Look at that. Good job.
Can you get that, Gabby?
I am getting, yes.
Yes, there he goes.
Whoa. All right.
Diane lastly develops stomach pains, and they discover that David was kicked by a horse centuries ago. Because I've never seen anything like this ghost equipment or software before, I'm not sure what the radar screen is used for. Should this be just an ordinary tablet with an app, there should be no way for the top to spin on its own. While a husband and wife are sitting in their living room, one of them realizes that the cat toy is moving on its own. When it occurs again a short time later, they grab the phone and begin filming what could be an animal spirit in action.
Oh my goodness.
It took me a long time to look up remote-controlled cat toys, but none of them resembled this one. This toy is undoubtedly small and soft, whereas remote-controlled pet toys are much larger and, in order to defend the receiver, are also made of plastic. Given that the married couple claims to have lost a cat years ago, I have no doubt that it is now going back to its best-loved toy, and to its best-loved holders. This enigmatic video was captured during a tour of the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. When something darts by low to the ground, the tour guide is speaking about ghost-like guesses from other eras.
The frilly dresses, the little breeches shorts, the nice little blouses.
It is believed that this is one of the many alternative forms of toy rabbits that were popular in the 1800s and 1900s. And I think that it could be a speck of dust or even computer-generated effects. There is not anyone that says anything out loud, which is doubtful, but one of the girls looks down where the object was last moving and tracks it with her head perfectly. Perhaps everyone there just notices something out of the corner of their eye and didn't realize it until they watched the video later. A mother films her child joyfully shaping Play-Doh into various shapes, absolutely does not know that the toy moves twice on its own. It seems that the first time is almost imperceptible, so keep an eye on it.
What are you doing?
Play-Doh.
On the other hand, the second time is much more conspicuous. And I mean that if you look again, and you'll notice that both of the kids' hands are totally off the toy when it immediately moves towards him. It looks like this video is one of the few circumstances where I have no evidence to refute it, and I can only come to the conclusion that what you've seen is almost certainly paranormal. Michael Pomeroy has in possession a shop called Something Different in Plymouth, England, and in this shop, there is a tall Mickey Mouse doll that is quite unique. When Michael opened the door one day, he discovered Mickey Mouse face down, more than a foot away from its usual spot in the corner. When Michael looks at the camera, he is astonished to see the haunted Mickey Mouse toy move on its own. Even though I initially thought it was thrown by someone off camera, you can clearly see it taking a few running steps forward before collapsing here. Please tell me if you were able to see it. Apart from computer effects, I don't know how this could have been faked, but the way the doll changes position looks very real to me. It seems that Michael is creating a seemingly innocuous YouTube video when something from another world appears directly at the back of him. Instantly, Michael stands up to examine the toy set, and it is clear that no string was attached. A string would easily stand out against the gloomy wood of this table, and there is also a Coca-Cola can straight in the path of where a string would have to be. Actually, if you watch the video again, you'll notice that Michael moves directly in front of the toy, which would have completely obstructed a string. Even though it appears that the blocks themselves are relatively securely positioned at the bottom of a wire bend, they could have dropped on their own. It appears that Omar Vassell and his friend are having a weird problem in Target's toy section. Although I'll leave them to give an explanation of everything later, one of the toys appears to be a little too energetic.
What is that? This toy does not go off, and this toy does not go off, but the center toy goes off. Off. My hand's over here. Bow. Toy goes off. Just watch. What is that? Like, please tell me what that is. America, please.
Even though perhaps the batteries in all of the toys except the one in the middle are dead, that still doesn't make clear the reason why it goes off when other toys are touched. I'm sure there's an obvious explanation for this video that I'm overlooking, so if you know these toys or know anything about toy manufacturing or design in general, please tell me how this could have happened. Because Barry is convinced that a spirit is moving things around in his house, he places a random object in the middle of the floor. Because of being controlled of this cat toy, he places the controller next to the toy to demonstrate that he is not tampering with it in any way. Until nearly 4 minutes into the video, there is not anything happening.
Okay.
After that, nothing else happens for another 4 minutes until there is a second burst of movement. Barry believes he has enough evidence and stops recording when it moves on its own for the third time. I have only one explanation, is that 2 of these cat toys belong to Barry, and he was holding a second remote controller. Nevertheless, just by noticing the controller, you can tell that the large plastic buttons would most likely make a loud clicking noise when pressed, but I never see the button being pressed at all. While I believe this is likely real, perhaps Barry could record it again while being seen himself in a mirror so we can realize that he has nothing in his hands. This toy appears to be owned by a spirit that wishes to mimic whatever its living counterpart does. Because the toddler is sitting on a toy truck here, the spirit makes up its mind to do the same.
Around that toy. There it goes again. There it goes again. Yep, there it goes again. There it goes again.
Orbs seem to skip all around the yellow toy truck's wheels when it slowly creeps forward, almost imperceptibly at times. At one point, a larger orb appears to find the outline of the truck itself in a zigzagging pattern, and it appears that the child notices something as well. Even though I'm fairly certain that this is a genuine magical encounter, I'm also overt to other reasonable explanations, so please let me know what you think is going on. Kodiak Moraski, a YouTuber, is hunting aquatic wildlife for fun when he spots a large lobster and runs towards it, blade in hand. He eventually loses track of where the exit is after chasing his prey far too far into the underwater cave.
I ended up getting turned around and lost in the hole, and basically came to the conclusion that I wasn't going to make it out alive.
Look at how he darts from crevice to crevice, desperately looking for an opening. He's out of the air and can't even express his fear without inhaling a large lungful of water. After a long journey of swimming in circles and accepting his own demise, Kodiak finally finds the exit and departs with a newfound appreciation for life. Tell me if there are any underwater survival strategies Kodiak could have used to discover his bearings and get out more quickly according to what you've seen in this video. When a YouTuber named Jay Frissina is recording her visit to the ice caves deep within the Austrian mountains, she hears a rise in anxious screams coming from the tourist group ahead.
Oh, wow.
A short time later, this strange figure can be seen scaling the walls.
Someone climbing up the wall. It's an iceman. It's a ghost. Jesus, what is that?
I was extremely sure that it was a frog until I called to mind they were in the ice caves. As far as I am concerned, no cold-blooded frog ought to be able to outlive the icy temperatures without freezing, and I doubt a group of people would yell at the same time over an amphibian. Worse, the glowing bluish humanoid creature seems to have no head. I can only fantasize about how the scene must have appeared in person. When Captain Bob Hartzell, a YouTuber, feels uneasy in the sea caves of Devil's Island in Wisconsin, he makes up his mind to start recording. Please see this section and let me know if you notice anything unusual in the distance. Standing directly in front of him is a practically human outline. Even though I predict that this could just be a tiny cave opening, this island is said to be spooked by a plethora of spirits and even a cave monster, so anything is possible. All I have an idea is that Bob, sensing that he is not alone, begins recording frantically and attempts to capture a silhouette roughly the size and shape of a human. A YouTube channel called Free For All intends to investigate a series of tunnels beneath Minneapolis that are said to lead to a place called Satan's Cave, which no one has ever seen before. When the group of friends squeezes through narrow opening after narrow opening, they get dirtier and dirtier, occasionally climbing through sections of the tunnel that have almost completely fallen down just to see what's next. Soon, the brick walls offer smooth gray stone that looks more like a cave's place. They have an idea that they're on the right track when they notice these intricately detailed faces carved into the wall. Even though it's a gruesome sight to be sure, the walls are still covered in graffiti, indicating that 1 million people have passed through here before. They are not entering new territory, at least not yet. After a while, they come across an unmarked and unexplored side tunnel. In order to continue, they must hunch over and eventually crawl on their hands and knees. It takes a long time for them to come across what appears to be the narrow mouth of Satan's Cave. The cave lastly opens up into a cramped chamber. When they notice the hole in the wall is not big enough to crawl through, the situation becomes all too real. To their left is a hole that leads straight down into the pitch-black darkness. Everyone feels uneasy about the large floor opening and wisely makes up their mind to turn around. Based on the cave's name, I wouldn't want to see what's down that final hole either. When this YouTuber is discovering Talica Abbey in Wales, he sees a strange animal face in the stone. Even though it's difficult to see at first, you can see a pig's face here. This leads him and his team to investigate the area further, eventually uncovering a series of even more startling discoveries. They quickly realize that this is not a natural rock formation, but rather an ancient ritualistic stone altar. The smooth surface was most likely used for human and animal sacrifices. Eventually, he zooms in on the altar's clawed feet, and the video abruptly brings to an end.
Proper seats on it, little church thing there.
It's difficult to tell whether this is a set piece or if they really did discover a hidden evil deep within an old cave. The friends appear to be more curious than scared, which is an odd reaction, but if I were there, I probably wouldn't have any idea what to think either. Generally, even though I believe this video has a good chance of being genuine, I'd like to hear other people's thoughts. A YouTuber named Mark Johnson and his group are carrying out a paranormal investigation in the Cave of the Winds, a supposedly haunted underground location in the Colorado wilderness. It is clear that no matter what is down there with them lacks forbearance and will not wait until they are ended setting up equipment to begin.
Probably kick on the spirit box here in a minute and that
They don't notice the noise until they watch the tape, which I find weird given how well the camera picks it up. The noise could have been caused by their equipment dragging across the ground, or it could have been truly paranormal. A short time later, they come across two orbs while walking, which is followed by this scream. I believe the scream was caused by a supernatural encounter because it occurred in the middle of an otherwise normal conversation, but hear this section and tell me what you think. Eventually, after Mark Johnson requests spiritual confirmation, this strange unseen light source magically flickers.
Is there anybody in this part of the cave here with me?
What's strange is that when Mark shines his flashlight over the patch of land, the shimmering effect vanishes. There does seem to be any reason for an object to finish reflecting light so abruptly, especially when it was just reflecting light 2 seconds before. I think that the reverberation should have become brighter when placed in a direct beam of light, rather than disappear completely, which leads me to believe that all of this is true. This YouTuber is discovering a cave in an unknown location when he comes across something that causes him to become immobile. He holds the camera steady and slowly zooms into the darkness. Two large white eyes, spaced far apart, stare back at him, indicating a large creature with a well-developed brow. The timing of his reaction appears to be genuine and not staged. At first, I thought this video was fake since the channel's name was Pro Films, however, then I noticed it just meant he was recording with a GoPro. Moreover, this is the channel's only video, and it was uploaded in 2016. I want to tell you that if this were a fake channel, there would probably be more videos like this one, however, there aren't any. Michiel Kroesbergen seems to be extending far down in a cave in the tropical country of Laos when he comes across this enormous arachnid lurking on the stony grey wall. This spider is later described by Michiel as the size of a mature pizza. Its eyes are too small to reflect light back into the camera like a cat's, which I've never seen a bug's eyes do. The creature lastly rushes into the darkness with the speed of a professional sprinter, never to be watched again by human eyes. According to the description, they are certain that this is a massive huntsman spider that will bite on occasion. Let me know if you see eye to eye with me about their assessment and how you determined it. This video, which is titled The Cave of Screaming Terror, begins to sound a little considerable until about halfway through. Donald Buckley is discovering a sea cave off the coast of Ireland by himself when the water immediately rises and he listens to a weird sound at the back of him. Donald makes up his mind to leave the area after hearing a series of shrill, high-pitched screams coming from deep within the cave. He does not seem to give an exact explanation, and I believe it bothered him. Please let me know if you can figure out what kind of creature this is. Even though it almost seems to be an exotic bird, it also reminds me of some of the more persuasive rake videos I've seen in the past. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because I upload a new video every day. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of my other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy.